Woohoo! It's Create Day. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I've got two new projects today that will add that farmhouse touch to any kitchen. Let's get started. So first up is the cake plate or riser tray. I picked up this candlestick holder and this wood tray from Goodwill. After I removed all the stickers on the bottom, I got everything cleaned up really well with a degreaser. And when I went to glue the two together, I noticed that it was uneven. And you can see there, I'm trying to show you where the top of that candlestick had kind of caved in. So I brought out the Durham water putty, thinking I could build up that caved in top section. So I mixed that up and applied it. It didn't go well. I should have just glued it on as is and filled it in with caulking, which I do later. But I thought I could even it up with this. But once it was dried and I went to sand it down, it just came right off. I still had some pieces left on there, so I went ahead and glued the chips back onto place to try and level it out. So here I am with the hand sander trying to smooth it down. Total fail. But anyway, so now I'm just decided to just go ahead and glue it on. I'm using E6000 and a little bit of hot glue for that instant hold. And then I will go in later and fill in the gaps underneath that were left from the unevenness with caulking. And so now that it's all glued together and it's had time to dry, I'm just going in with my black flat spray paint and giving everything a good coat of that. Originally I didn't use the footage, but I had shellacked the wood. And then I decided to just paint it black, so that was a total waste of time. So now I am just painting it in a chalk paint called sheepskin. That little turntable really comes in handy, you guys. If you don't have one, I definitely recommend picking one up. I think I ended up doing 2 coats of the sheepskin on this piece. Now here's where I decided to just bring in the caulking and just go all around that whole section there to fill in, because I just wanted to make the whole thing really smooth. So I just put it all the way around and then wiped off all the excess so that we could just have it filled in where it needed to be. So after I got it all smoothed out with my finger, I just went in with a damp rag and finished smoothing it out. And now I've just got some medium grit sandpaper that I'm distressing down through the paint to get to the black. And next up is my sunflower stamp. When I bought these two pieces to make this tray, this is exactly what I had in mind. I wanted to use this big sunflower stamp from IOD. So I just lay it down and press it out with my fingers, just not real hard, just kind of a gentle rubbing over every little bit so you can get a good transfer on there. And there it is. Now I'm just taking some fine grit sandpaper and kind of distressing a little bit to even up where some areas didn't come out completely like I thought it would, so I just wanted to even it up a little bit. So now we go in with the clear wax over where I want to put the dark wax so that I have a little more control over it so it doesn't soak in all that dark wax and not be able to remove it. And I just repeated that process around the entire sunflower with the antiquing wax with the clear wax underneath it. And then I was able to go back and darken up any areas that I wanted to have a little more just variance in the color. Some light, some dark. Just to be like a little rustic sunflower. It's kind of like painting, only with a cloth instead of a paintbrush. Once the wax was dry, I went ahead and clear coated it with a matte clear spray paint. And now I am taking some twine that I actually took the antiquing wax and just rubbed it on my fingers and rubbed that around the twine. And I'm hot gluing it onto the tray. I went around 2 times, and then I'm just burning off the little fuzzies with a lighter. And now I'm just buffing out. I had put the clear wax over the entire piece, and I'm just buffing it out. The last step was to take this sticky felt. I wrapped it around the base of the tray, which I've just made a crease by wrapping that around, so I had a line to cut around. And then I removed half of that adhesive backing and stuck that down, and then just peeled off the rest of it. And it's all done. Now we go on to the rolling pin. I picked this terracotta colored paint to paint the handles with. I'm trying to match the red in this piece of decoupage paper that I'm going to use. It was a little more orange than red, so I end up going back over those handles with a mixture of some red and that terracotta paint to get the final result that I want. And now I'm just laying out the paper over the rolling pin to see how much of it I need. So then I can just cut that off and it will wrap around perfectly. I love this little paper cutter that my daughter got me for Christmas. It's wonderful. So before I decoupage this on there, I decided I wanted to rough up the edges. I'm using a medium grit sandpaper, I think, and a wire brush. And it actually took a lot of work. It's pretty sturdy paper. But in the end, I really liked the way it looked. I didn't want that harsh line. I wanted it to look like it was really aged. So I did that on both sides. And then it was time to apply our decoupage. Just trying to line it up. And I just did, small sections at a time. Just wrapping it around a little bit at a time, smoothing it out. And so now it's time to distress the handles. Again, just some medium grit sandpaper. Like I said, I ended up adding some different mixture of paint onto those handles to make them the color that I wanted. And I wanted to distress these, and then I will be adding the antique wax over that too. So it will look really old and grungy by the time we're done. So here we are with the antiquing wax, and I'm watering it down just a little bit, a few spritz of water. And I start off with this makeup sponge. It just wasn't applying enough on there to make a difference, so I switched out to a brush, and that worked out a whole lot better. And so it's just a process of painting it on and wiping it back with a cloth. I wanted it to really go in and grab the edges of that paper. So you just keep doing it till you get the look you like. And then repeat the process on the other side. So now I'm just showing you that I'm going in with the clear wax over the decoupage paper and then adding in the antiquing wax on top of that so that I don't get too much grab from the dark wax. That's why the clear wax goes down first. So that way I can just kind of age all of it. And I think I actually did, I lightly sanded the paper before I did this. I don't know why that footage isn't on here, but I just very lightly sanded it to give it a little more grab for the antiquing wax. So now I'm just going in with the clear wax to coat all the antique wax and the paint and everything that's on there. And now I'm just sealing the decoupage paper with the final coat of decoupage, the Mod Podge. Okay, I wanted to cover up those little plastic end pieces. They just looked way too modern for this rolling pin. So just some hot glue and some twine, and I just wrapped it around and covered that, just leaving the little opening to put the rolling pin back together. It was really easy to take this rolling pin apart. You just pull off one handle and the whole thing just comes out, and when you're done with this step you can just put it back together. I just had one little spot right there where there wasn't any twine, so I just cut an extra piece and hot glue that in place. Okay, both ends are done, so now we just have to reassemble our rolling pin. Super easy. It's all done, and now we can see how both of these turned out. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I've inspired you to go create something. See you next time.